legendary day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, faithful of all ages, training camp is finally here. Can I get an amen and a hallelujah? Oh, Lord, I thought we would never get here. Jason and I are going to go ahead and get into some training camp battles today that we're looking forward to and everything. Among us, some roster news that we have. But before we get into that, we'd like to remind everybody to go to twitch.tv/Niner Faithful Radio to join us for all the live streams to all our shows. You can also subscribe for free using Amazon Prime. We'll go ahead and give you the details on how you can do that at the end of the show. We also want to remind everybody that in 2 days, For the Faithful, By the Faithful pre-launch sale is coming July 30th. Save 20% off of all our designs. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop for all the details. You can also follow Niner Faithful Radio Shop on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio Shop, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful RS. Please go to SeatGiant.com and use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets. Remember, use that promo code Niner Faithful Radio to help out your favorite Niner podcast. Get your officially licensed Niner gear from shop49ers.com by using our affiliate link that is in the description of this video and podcast. Please make sure you do that whenever you shop at 49ers.com or shop49ers.com, because it really does help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com to check out our interviews, previous episodes of the show, and find everywhere and anywhere that you can subscribe to Niner Faithful Radio. And you can also follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter, or Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's start the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we went ahead and added Jason. How you doing, Jason? We finally made it, bro.
I know, man. The long winter is done. We now get to see how everybody looks. And, well, not necessarily, not pads yet, but the boys are back together.
That's all that matters. You know, you got football activities happening at 4949 Centennial Boulevard.
Good.
Oh, I'm so fired up. Y'all can't wait.
It's been one of the longest off seasons that I can remember. And I don't know if it's just because of, the whole world with COVID or everything else that was going on. It's just like this off season felt longer than any other one.
I think back and I look, and I think that, I would say the first couple months of the offseason went by pretty fast. Then once the trade was made, that made everything drag on, and then it was almost like little spurts. Like pre the trade was okay. Obviously, the trade into the draft was probably the longest, basically, month and 4 days of my life. And then, May and June seemed to go by pretty fast. May and June was pretty okay. And then I ain't gonna lie, the last 40 days, going from the dismissal of OTAs to now training camp, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's probably the longest 40 days of my life. It's dragged on.
Do you think it would have been bad if we weren't talking about the same two things over and over and over?
I really think that is. I mean, pretty much what we pretty much talked about. Jimmy and Trey. I mean, that's you'll get into some other stuff, and we did some position battles that was pretty fun, and all that. But with us streaming the show more frequently, it'd have been a lot easier if we were doing 5 shows a week. That kind of made it drag on a little bit more. But before we get into the meat of the training camp battles, we like to say the Niners have actually made a few moves. We went
Yeah.
ahead and signed Eddie Yarborg and Anthony Zettel to 1-year deals. The team also announced that Tavarius Moore and Jeff Wilson Jr. have been put on the active, physically unable to perform list.
Oh,
Emmanuel Mosley was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list, and we have waived wide receiver Andy Jones. I'm not going to go ahead and get into all the details on Zettel and Yarbor. They're both DNs, obviously looking to add some depth. My first initial thoughts, and I don't know, I'm assuming a lot of our listeners were able to listen to the Lynchahan press conference and then the player press conferences right after. But my first initial takeaways from that list and also the Lynchahan press conference was D Ford and Jalen Hurd are on the PUP, on the PUP list. And although Kyle Shanahan did address it and said that he did not expect either player to return to team activities within the next week, the fact that they did not start on the list, and I didn't hear him say anything about them practicing on the side, I think that's positive news.
sure. Yep.
And also, another takeaway was I know in the press conference they said it was a possibility that Jaquiski Tartt would start training camp on the physically unable to perform list, or the PUP list, as we like to call it. I did not see his name there. Now, I believe they have until 4 p.m. to make that announcement. I'll keep my eyes open on Twitter, and I know Jason will and Jamie will in the Facebook, but it seems like Jaquiski Tartt is going to start on the active roster, so that's good because that turf toe, man, that seemed a lot more serious than I thought it would be. I know it kept him out for a while last year, but here we are in training camp, and it's still a possibility to be worried about. That's a little concerning.
Turf toe ain't no joke, man.
Hey,
It keeps people out. There's at least one player who misses the entire, like half the season every year on some team. It hurts.
I remember, I want to say it was T.O. One year, had turf toe real bad, and I think he missed like 4 or 5, maybe even 6, or it was somebody that missed hella time with turf toe. And it wasn't Patrick Willis, but it was somebody back in the day that missed a significant time with turf toe and everything. It is one of those injuries that you don't think it's going to be that. Like, you hear turf toe and you're like, the hell? And if you don't get out there and go run, but from what I heard, it's look. Let's be real. Complications with turf toe are the reason Patrick Willis, isn't in the Hall of Fame already. I think Patrick Willis, if he would have not retired early because of turf toe, essentially complications from it.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a first ballot Hall of Fame. And so I don't want to laugh at it and scoff at it and, like it's no big deal, but him not being on the list has definitely some positives. Lord Jesus, I pray for a healthy training camp. Trey's not signed. Jason, I know that you were very, very confident that would happen over the weekend, as was I will. I'm not worried. Are you even semi-worried? I would put my worry at 10%.
Well, here's what if you Zach Wilson has also to be signed, quarterback for the rookie quarterback coming in for the Jets. So
yeah,
I'm not. More than likely, they're waiting to see what kind of like guarantees he's getting, how the contract is worded, all that kind of stuff. So more than likely, it's unless Trey goes up to his agent and says, "Hey, get this done now. I want to practice." More than likely, they're going to wait, see what kind of language and money is there for Zach Wilson, and then move on. And I would say if Zach Wilson is signed by 4:00, Trey's signed by sometime tonight. So I mean,
I'm not.
I would think it's got to be quick. It's got to be something simple like that.
John Lynch sounded confident. He spoke about it and he said that I think I think he wanted to say, yeah, it's going to get done, but he wanted to stop himself short of saying that. And you caught him. You could tell he caught himself and said, "I'm pretty confident."
Yeah.
And he spoke about how um, that they have yet to have a holdout in their regime, and that, but he did mention the fact that it's come close to the wire with a couple players. Uh, Obviously,
Was it
Solomon
Bosa
Thomas.
really quick?
Uh,
Or no, that was
I,
Solomon Thomas. That's right. Yeah. That was,
yeah, no,
yeah.
Solomon Thomas. I literally remember Solomon Thomas pretty much signed his contract.
And then ran on the field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally
Okay, that's
showed
what
up
it was.
in shoulder pads and his helmet in hand, signed his contract, and literally ran onto the field.
It was like
So
he did a quick drive-by. Oop, there we go, and I'm out.
Yep.
Right to the field.
okay, see y'all later. And so I have heard that Trey Lance is by the facility, or at least at the facility, or was. I don't know if he technically can be now, even since he's not technically under contract.
Probably down the street.
So Trey Lance is in Santa Clara County. I don't know exactly where, but he's in Santa Clara County, which makes me now. If he was still in Minnesota or in Vegas, that would concern me because I'd be like, okay, that means that he doesn't think that they're anywhere close.
Yeah.
The fact that he's here in California, and I would assume that if it's not done by the time practice rolls around tomorrow morning, that Trey Lance is going to have a phone call to his agent first thing Wednesday morning saying, I don't give a shit, get it done. I don't believe that.
The same agent, by the way. I just looked it up because I was curious. They're not.
No. Okay. So, yeah, I was actually, that was something I was going to mention because I knew that this was back before I think that 5 first-round picks weren't signed, and I want to say 3 of them were the same agency as Trey Lance, which makes me think that this is kind of an agent thing and trying to make it look as good as possible for your next, clients and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned. Kyle Shanahan has came out and pretty much said he doesn't anticipate it being an open competition in training camp. So
Sean Slater, the
yes.
tackle for the Chargers, also has the same agency, and he's been signed.
Yeah. Oh, he's been signed?
Yep,
okay.
He's been signed today. So I'm trying to think who else has him. It looks like Mac Jones, he's signed. So, yeah, they're just waiting to see what that comes down to.
I think they're waiting for the Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I think they're waiting for the Zach Wilson deal to get done. So it's my concern level is at 10%. I'm not worried. I would fully expect Trey Lance to be I would fully expect the deal to get done now, and I would expect Trey to sign it pretty much whenever they're due to report at the facility or meeting room or whatever. I literally think that he's going to show up to the meeting late, but it'll be because he's signing his contract.
Can we get another Jed tweet at 3 o'clock in the morning with him
Yes.
and Lynch and everybody drunk? We signed Trey Lance.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. I'm down for some more
I
Jed
love
drug
those,
seats.
man. Those are awesome. Can we just do? We need every free agent rookie contract. Just do it drunk from now on.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. We got the hashtag Kyle for the faithful by the faithful pre-launch sale. You will be able to get your hashtag Kyle T-shirt. I've never met the man personally, but something tells me that Jed York would be a nice dude, a pretty interesting dude to have a beer with. Like, I'm sure that there would be a lot of things and life experiences that Jed York and I wouldn't be able to experience. Something tells me that Jed York's
he's a billionaire.
Yeah, something would tell me. And it's not even that he's the billionaire; it's that he comes from family money. I bet you Eddie Senior was a real down to earth dude because Eddie Senior was the one that made the money. Eddie,
he's a gangster. That's why.
Yeah, Eddie Junior, Eddie D. Eddie D said he kept himself, was a pretty level headed dude because he hung out with construction workers. And I'm sorry, with the last name DeBarlo, and having money. I don't mean to be like that, but something would tell me he knew a mobster or two in his day. Um, so, you know,
Stereotyping.
Jed, but Jed seems a down on earth type of dude that you know you would be able to have a beer and he would be funny. I don't think that Jed, we would be able to talk about welfare Christmases, and everything like that. We would probably have a lot of high school experiences the same. But
No.
I think that Jed York, I think where it would come out would be the passion for the Niners, because I've met some people that know Jed personally that work with Jed very closely, and they said he's not beyond punching a couple holes in walls and throwing some shit at some TVs,
Yeah.
in his day. And I've known to be punched some holes in some walls and throw some phones at through TVs and stuff in my time. Okay, so moving on. Training camp battles. I'm going to go ahead and start with mine. I'm going to try not to take as many as Brian and I did yesterday, but I will start with one that I think is not getting enough publicity, and I will steal it from yesterday's show, but that's Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley versus Ambry Thomas. And I know that we have, Jason Emmanuel Mosley penciled in as a starter, and yes, he should be the starter. I know it'll be difficult for Ambry Thomas, especially not playing in 2020. I know that it'll be hard for him to take his job, but Eric Crocker has spoke on the Locked In 49er podcast a lot on how the team was playing a lot of Dante Johnson and Ahkello Witherspoon down the stretch last year. And Emmanuel Mosley was relegated to a lot of special teams play. And I don't want to say Emmanuel Mosley had a bad year. He said everybody says, well, he got roasted by the, Hopkins. I forgot his last. Yeah, well, how many cornerbacks does DeAndre Hopkins make look bad? I mean, I think that was
even a top-rated cornerback. Show me one who doesn't get roasted once in a while. It happens.
And so exactly. No, I think that. Look, I think that's Emmanuel Mosley having more of a difficulty dealing with dealing with size than any type of struggle.
Yeah.
But 102's. I don't want to say he was a high third round draft pick. 102's obviously late third round, but the Niners. Yeah, exactly. Still third round pick, and so I'm not going to say that the Niners drafted him to start this year. Of course, I'm not going to say that the Niners drafted him to start this year, but I would say Emmanuel Mosley's name's written as a starter in pencil. Jason, can we go ahead and get your a cap battle that you're looking forward to and your thoughts on Emmanuel Mosley and Ambry Thomas?
I think you're correct when you come to saying that it's probably not penciled in, or excuse me, it's not written in pen. I think long term we're looking and definitely going more towards towards Avery. It could even be for Vernett. Vernett's, he's got some issues too, so we can't necessarily forget about him with his stuff. But yeah, eventually, Thomas is going to be the number one corner on this team. Whether it becomes next year, or the year after, eventually he will be the number one. See, I agree 100% that neither of them, I don't think, are necessarily set in stone or anything like that. My biggest one that I'm looking for camp battle is who's going to play that right guard?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Brunskill, or is Banks going to come in and take it? And like I said, we've discussed this before that we all know Banks is going to be the left guard, the guard going forward at some point in time. The question is, does he take it this year or next year? Because Brunskill's not a pushover. He will not go out without a fight, even though
Yeah,
the team itself is probably better with Brunskill backing up, considering he can jump in any position in case anybody happens to get hurt or whatever. But yeah, I mean, even I think right now, I think Thomas takes it. I truly do. Or Banks, Banks takes it.
yeah. I
But
think that look, it's very clear that the Niners want Aaron Banks to start at right guard.
yeah,
And you and I, when we did the offensive line breakdown, I had posed the question, and you and I both agreed, like we do a lot, that the line was simply better with Daniel Brunskill coming off the bench. But I think it was Alex Tran on Twitter that had asked for my most underrated camp battle, or asked, put a question out there for our most underrated camp battle, and I put guard. I said because I think that everybody just kind of has Aaron Banks, penned in and everything like
oh
that.
yeah.
And yeah, I do too. I assume, and yeah, I am concerned if Aaron Banks doesn't take the job, but I think that
Are you really? Are you really
yeah,
surprised? As good as Brunskill's played for us these last couple of years in very difficult positions, would you be
okay,
that surprised with how good he
okay.
can be?
Surprised isn't the right word. You're right. I wouldn't be surprised. I would say okay. So to me, it breaks down like this. Are you telling me it's because Aaron Banks looked so garbage that Brunskill had to win just by simply default? Or are you telling me it's because Daniel Brunskill just came and just said, look, this is the reincarnation of Larry Allen? Um, I would not be surprised if simply that Brunskill shows up and it's just like, look, he's clearly the best guard. One of the best two guards on this team. No, that wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me if Aaron Banks looks like garbage. Um,
Yeah,
I think that he's going to struggle. I think that, he's a rookie and, you know, it's, yeah, okay, you're coming from Notre Dame, which, is a high level institution, but, this is the NFL. And let's be real. We all know Daniel Brunskill is Aaron Donald's daddy. And, to me,
facts.
to me, the big question comes is look, Aaron Banks, this ain't Notre Dame. You're not playing Northwestern. This is freaking Aaron Banks, probably one of the best players in the NFL, probably the best non-quarterback in the NFL. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say probably. He is the best non-quarterback player in the NFL. Is Aaron Donald, and so it's. I'm not going to be so surprised would be the wrong word. I think Aaron Banks is going to be fine. I think he's going to have rookie errors, and I want Aaron Banks starting because I want Daniel Brunskill to start off, come off the bench because I think that's the offensive line that makes it best. Moving on, one that I also think is getting a little bit of I don't want to say this is a battle, but this is a player to watch, and it's Brandon Ayuk and Debo. And I know I said this on yesterday's show, but I also want to get Jason's thoughts on here. Is we're all very high on
Now
Debo,
hiring.
and we're now getting
Sorry.
we're fuck right. You made me lose my train of. So we're all very hyped up on Brandon Ayuk and Debo, but I think that I want to see it. Oh, great. I fully believe that Brandon Ayuk will come in and establish himself as a star this year. Now it's time to go show it. We believe it. We believe it. But now it's time to go show it. And I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see it, consistently because everybody's harping on the third string, on the third wide receiver. And while that is important, and I think that we are going to miss KB. and I think that it's going to be in the red zone and third down that we do miss him the most. I have high expectations for Brandon Ayuk, but I want to see it. I want to see it. Go out there. I want to, on the second when I go to my first day of training camp, I want my jaw to pop open. Jason, your thoughts on your next camp battle?
Real quick, I think the biggest one though is like obviously we have number one, number two. It's who's going to fill up those back ends.
Yeah.
One of my favorite camp battles is going to be with the running backs. Who is going to fill in those third and fourth running backs? There are going to be decisions made because right now I think Jeff Wilson will be gone.
Yeah, he's on pup.
So yeah, he's on pup for a while. So who's going to pick that third
6
one?
weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Is it going to be more of Gallman? Mitchell? Who's going to be picking up those reps in practice and in those games? So there's another definite one that I'm looking for. It's kind of weird because with running backs, there's also a chance that Trey Sermon just takes that position, at least the starting position, and majority of the carries from Mostert. I've seen multiple people talking about that they would like to see Mostert's load decrease to keep him fresh for those long runs because he does break down. And Sermon is built to take those to be that pounding running back over and over and over. So you got the top end of the running back position and the back end where people, we still have to juggle to find out where people are going to land.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Brian had mentioned it on yesterday's show. Is that is this running back room better with Raheem Mostert, let's say, getting 8 carries a game? Where after you've dealt with Trey Sermon all game, and a little bit of a player that nobody's kind of mentioning, and I haven't seen him make too many. Listening to all the podcasts I listen to, I haven't seen anybody pick him yet to be on their 53, I believe. But that's JaMycal Hasty. And, the team was high on him last year. Several beat writers had said, the team came to us and said, do not write any articles about, JaMycal Hasty.
Yeah.
We want to stash him on the practice squad, and we do think we have something there. Now, he did have a little bit of fumbling issues and did get hurt. So,
that's a
obviously,
one, it's not like he's constantly getting hurt.
Yeah, of course.
So.
I'm not sitting there, saying that he's washed up and injury prone or anything of that. I mean, look, he's a running back. Running backs get hurt. But I think that, look, we obviously gave our predictions. We assumed Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, Raheem Mostert, and Goldman are going to make the roster. But, I'm not buying out JaMycal Hasty.
Oh, no.
And I think that with by the way, we did not mention this in the beginning of the show, the unlimited players on IR, bringing players back, the vets on the practice squad, all those rules from last year are going to apply to this year.
I really hope they just keep those rules or adjust them.
I really do
more,
too.
Keep it like this. It's like, why can't you put guys on IR, especially with the extra game in this season? They need more flexibility.
Yeah, I do too. Go ahead and keep it on. To me, it's you get in a position with the Niners where you have to keep it allows roster flexibility too.
Mm-hmm.
For example, what happens if a player is injured for going to be out? Jeff Wilson Jr. Perfect example. Now he's a little bit different because he got hurt, during the offseason.
Yeah.
But let's say that this happened during camp. And you say, hey, do we want to hold down a roster spot for 4 weeks for Jeff Wilson Jr.? No, you don't. Not if he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I'm guessing he's coming back after the bye week. But with the ability to stash him on IR and bring him back, and knowing that you don't have to worry about that being one of your two, it just makes it better. It's one of the IR thing has been one of the very, very many things that I think the NFL does wrong. And I'm hoping as time goes forward, with them now reducing the rules as far as player jersey numbers, and you're starting to see a lot of silly rules change. I'm hoping that this is one that they definitely keep. But back to running backs. Yeah, I picked Goldman. I do think Goldman is going to make the roster. I think that they're going to want to have that veteran presence, and he felt in quite admirably for Saquon Barkley last year.
Hey, he wasn't bad for Barkley.
No. So I do think that we're going to want a vet presence. I think that, that is that. So I do believe Goldman will make it, but I expect Michael Hasty to give a run for his money, and I would not be surprised at all if JaMychal Hasty makes this roster.
Also, he had almost 700 yards, 147 carries, 4.6 average. I'm good with that.
How many touchdowns?
6, but that's the Giants.
That's fine.
The Giants are horrible. I'm not really worried about the touchdowns, but the average in those carries, he's taking a beat and he kept showing up. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with 4.6 yards, especially with what are you really talking about? You're talking about your third or fourth string running back.
That means if you run him 3 times, he's got a first down.
Yeah, awesome. I'll take that.
Yeah.
When ideally Sermon and Raheem Mostert are going to get majority of the bulk of carries, and Elijah Mitchell, I would think in an ideal world. So yeah, I'm excited. Another one. So on to my next one that I think is going to be is strong safety with Jaquiski Tartt. Obviously he's not on the PUP list so far, but that could be coming. And let's be real, he gets his foot stepped on by a player or something like that. That's something that could change quite a lot. Starting strong safety, or at least backup in this case, I guess, because Tartt will be the starter if healthy. Backup strong safety becomes a very important camp battle. Obviously, Wilson is, who I would assume would get the first crack at it, but let's be real. We're pretty established as far as who we assume should be the starters, but let's be real with this football team. We know it better than anybody else. The backup's only one snap away from being a starter.
Yep.
Jason, your thoughts on the strong safety competition and your next camp battle?
Yeah, I definitely think that should anything happen, it's probably going to be Wilson. Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth. He's got 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
But he also has a lot of experience that, like you said, if something happens to those top 2 guys, we're going to need somebody with some of that experience to keep covering, keep pushing, keep teaching, all that. But the talent's there. But, yeah, definitely I think he would be the first one to go to it. Another one I'm looking at is, again, you notice that we're not really talking a whole lot about starters per se. It's the backup at a lot of positions.
It is.
Who are we keeping for tight ends? Obviously, Kittle.
Yeah, obviously.
I know we talked about it previously. I still think Michael comes out of nowhere and takes that second spot. I really do. I love his blocking ability, even compared to Warner and Dwelly. I don't think Peterson's going to make the squad.
No, he's practice squad.
Yeah, he's practice squad. So I think, honestly, either Dwelly or Warner, somebody's getting cut and or traded.
Yeah, I think that's. Welcome to having a pretty close to complete roster in training camp 101. We hope to pretty much the next several years be talking about mostly backup, camp battles. But, I think that it's definitely not set in stone. And, let's be real. We love him. He's a people tight end. We're going to get back to the Kittle Corn MVP of the week this year and all that. But all throughout his career, you've only been George Kittle's tight end is only one snap away from being the starter. And so, we obviously know who our main tight end is, but Kittle missed 8 games last year. We can't deny that with 2 separate injuries. And so I'm not going to blow off the second tight end. That's something that I definitely would be interested as Camp moves forward.
Tight end sets quite a bit. So, I mean, the second tight end is going to get a ton of play. And let's be real. It's very clear, at least as far as I see it, we're gearing up to be a more run-heavy team this year. Yes, sir.
I think that ideally, as long as we can stay in positive game script, I don't see us throwing the ball more than 25 times a game this year. And that might even be stretching it. And so
everybody's going to complain, we don't trust Jimmy. Why trust anybody throwing the ball when you're running for 5 yards to carry? I don't give a damn if Montana was back there. I ain't running the ball or I ain't throwing it.
Hold on for you know what? We'll do that at another time. Because, have you looked at Joe's stats the first Super Bowl 16? He didn't really have that great of a game. He had a great first half, and he really didn't have that good. And so I think it's so funny that, if Jimmy hits that throw to Emmanuel Sanders, nobody ever brings up the fact that Jimmy, 23 times in 2 playoff games? Or no, it was like 12 times. It was some ridiculously low number in the 2 playoff games before the Super Bowl that he threw the pass. Nobody ever mentions that. Jimmy Garoppolo, they're only mentioning one thing when you talk about Jimmy Garoppolo: Super Bowl champion quarterback. And so I would be curious. I would be curious to go back to Troy Aikman's numbers when the years that Emmitt Smith was really humming in the playoffs, and everything, and to see.
I thought Aikman was good.
Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I bet you that comparative, even if you take it to the fact they didn't throw the ball as much, because we're talking, late '80s, early '90s here. But when Emmitt Smith was humming, I bet you look at Troy Aikman's numbers, and Troy Aikman's a Hall of Fame freaking quarterback. I bet you look at Troy Aikman. Touche.
That's it right there. You get Jimmy stays healthy, he's headed towards a Troy Aikman-like career where you're got one of the best lines, best running backs, and you could maybe Ayuk turns into what's the wide receiver?
Michael Irvin.
Why can I not think of Michael Irvin? But yeah. So I mean, I'd be all right with that.
I think Jimmy can go on a championship caliber team and win a Super Bowl. I do.
Oh,
I honestly fully believe. Now, it's going to have to be a stacked team. I don't believe that we have talked on many occasions how we don't believe that Jimmy's not going to take a team kicking and screaming to a championship.
No.
But I do believe for one game, if you look at the Super Bowl as one game, I do believe Jimmy can win that game. Now, if you say, can Jimmy win you all 2 playoff games plus the Super Bowl? I mean, that might be a little
Probably
bit
not.
asked.
Not unless he got hot.
But Jimmy can, yeah, unless he gets hot. But
Pull like a Joe Flacco.
And exactly. Perfect scenario. Stings a little bit, but yeah, great analogy.
That's what happened. Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And then Joe Flacco got paid and became a very mediocre quarterback after that.
Yeah. I still can't believe we lost to fucking Joe Flacco.
I know he was hot though, man. I mean, you look at his entire career as a whole, there's not much there. But for that month and a half, leading up to the playoffs, damn, was he not good?
That's what it is. Look, you're talking to a man who watched his baseball team win 3 championships in 5 years when we were not. 2012, you can make an argument. Well, 2012 it was the first half. We were the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
But in 2010, the Giants weren't even close to being the best team in baseball in 2010. Not even close. We just got hot right at the time that the Padres got cold, and we continued that hotness all the way into, a championship.
That's why they say, it's not necessarily who's the best team all
Yeah,
season.
no.
It's who's the best team going into the playoffs a lot of times.
Eli Manning made a Hall of Fame career on that.
Yeah,
there is no way.
The only thing stopping Brady from being the absolute greatest of all time is Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eli.
And Nick Foles. But yeah, no. There is no way if football was baseball and you had to play a 7-game series, the Patriots are beating the Giants in 5. That's the only game that the Giants
4.
are winning.
Probably both years are beating them in 4. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that
they had Randy freaking Moss and couldn't do it.
Man, it's funny because I know last year, and we'll get back to training camp battles here in a little bit, but I thought this was fun because I never thought I'd see the day, but I'm seeing the day where so many people, if you look at the main jersey, who the NFL is really marketing to, that age range, grew up without seeing Jerry Rice play.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd see the day where Jerry's suffering a lot from maybe, Jim Brown or players like that suffered with us, where I think that Jim Brown is disrespected a lot because a lot of the football audience didn't see Jim Brown play, but I think his greatness is slowly fading away to really how great Jim Brown really was. Same with O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm. And
he's so
for other things now.
But exactly, to me, Jerry, what separates Jerry from Randy Moss, and especially in today's game when it's the deep ball, it's the touchdowns, it's the deep bombs and all that, was Jerry showed up in the Super Bowl. Even in his loss to the Raiders, he had a good game. Jerry showed up in the Super Bowl. The greatest players show up on the biggest stages. And you know what? Randy Moss, big goose egg when it comes to championship.
Yeah, he does.
And let's not pretend that those Vikings teams with Dante Culpepper were bro, I believe the year that they lost the Falcons, weren't they like 15-1 or something like that?
The number 1 seed going in.
They were because I remember it was in Minnesota. My uncle's a Vikings fan, so I know that. I want to say there was something like 15-1 or something like that. Like those Viking teams with Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, and Chris Carter. Those were some damn good football teams. They should have won the championship.
Robert in the backfield, I believe was his name.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I can't remember if that was I think that was his last name was Roberts. But yeah, I remember those were good teams.
But those were damn good football teams. And so, that to me what settles the debate of the GOATs between Randy and Jerry. And honestly, I'll pick T.O. before I would pick Jerry. Maybe you could say that's a slightly Niner homer coming out of me. But
well, you said T.O. before Jerry, so, but
it clearly goes Jerry. But I would pick T.O. over Randy Moss personally. Maybe that's a little bit of me, the homer in me.
I'd agree with you up until his second year in Philadelphia, because after that's when he started getting a little too crazy.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I'm talking T.O. I remember there was this. If you look back against the Better Rivals, just did their rewatch series, and they went back to Jerry Rice's last home game as a Niner, and I believe it was T.O.'s first touchdown. That literally there was this DB that was running full speed, and T.O. was running full speed, and literally the DB just flew, hit him and flew 5 yards back. And I'm talking that T.O. I'm talking about the TO that if he showed up and his mind was right, there was nobody on that field that was going to stop him. There's literally nobody in the NFL that could stop TO. You put a safety deep and double Randy that you were going to stop him.
Yeah.
You know, there was just no way you could stop TO. Anyway, back to training camp battles. Obviously, the main one that we've been buried is the quarterback. Shanahan came out and pretty much said, "Look, there is no
battle.
there is no battle." I would like to, and I don't want to bore everybody with a 45-minute conversation about who's going to be the third string quarterback, but you know, let's be real. The most, I think, exciting battle in the quarterback room is a third string quarterback because let's be real, Trey Lance is going to be the backup by default. Trey Lance is not the backup quarterback. We have some serious fucking issues on our hands. Some real serious issues.
Or he's just that damn good if he's starting.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to rule out Trey Lance coming in and winning the job, but I'm going to put it at like a 3% chance.
It's a
just
very low percentage.
Low percentage, and even if you could say he could do what Jimmy does, well, I'm not bringing him in. I'm not bringing Trey Lance in to do what Jimmy does. We didn't draft Trey Lance to be what Jimmy is. We drafted Trey Lance to be better than Jimmy. You know, and that's what I said. If you go back to the pre-pick episode or the post-pick episode of our draft day show, after the, oh, it's not Mac Jones, and yeah, all that calmed down, I straight up said, look, I do not want to see Trey Lance on the field playing significant snaps for the Niners as our starting quarterback until he proves he's ready than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I just don't think that that's going to come back. And I think that 2020, had scarred some people to Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
And, obviously Jimmy was healthy week 1. And, no, he did not look great in week 1. But I think that the most reasonable Jimmy fan will admit Jimmy needs good receivers around him. And I want to say he was without Kittle for, I want to say, most of the second half.
Yeah.
And his freaking receivers were Dante Johnson and Trent Taylor, who, by the way, aren't on the field, aren't on the team anymore. Big respect to Trent Taylor. Love you, brother. But I think it was clear
you're not terrifying anybody out there on defense.
Yeah, I think it was clear that the back injury derailed Trent Taylor's career. Yeah. I think it was very clear.
Well, someone signed him. I forget who, but he's on.
It's the Bengals. It was the Bengals.
Right.
Look, I think he could have a good career. But
it's a back injury and a little guy.
Yeah. I just think that's very clear. And it sucks, bro, because those 5 games with Jimmy, I thought Trent Taylor, bro, I had high expectations for Trent Taylor. I thought he was going to be Wes Walker 2.0.
Edelman Part 2.
Edelman Part 2.
All the, insert small white receiver, good,
here. Fully agree with you. But, so I expect a better year from Jimmy because I believe that we're better at receiver. I'll go ahead and get some of your final thoughts here, Jason, because we're running pretty quick here. But one last, I'm going to end it with my version of this with my ultimate player I want to watch in training camp, and that's Jalen Hurts. Obviously, Nick Bosa goes without saying. Trent Williams goes without saying, but I'm excited because if Jalen Hurts looks even 75% of what we thought we were going to get when we saw him in the preseason, that one preseason game against Dallas, if he can be 75, 80% of that, I'm excited. Jason, your final camp battle and then your number one player to watch in camp this year.
My favorite thing about camp this year is going to be DeMarco Ryans.
D'Amico
What is
Ryans.
he or D'Amico Ryans? Yeah. What is he going to do on this defense to change it up to get it better? I want to see what kind of blitz, because they've said we're going to be blitzing a little bit more. I want to see
Yeah.
that. I want to see how people. Who's going to be the main blitzer? Is it going to be Trent or Fred? Is it going to be Al Shahir?
I say Bam Bam.
Greenlaw there? Yes, good. But
I say
who's gonna-
Greenlaw.
I would say Greenlaw too, because you still want
Yeah.
Warner out in coverage.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want. So to me, not necessarily players. I want to see what position the players are going to be put in
Yeah.
by Ryan.
Yo, I love that. I think that the D'Amico Ryans is a great choice. Your final camp battle?
What's left? All right, so speaking of linebackers, who's going to back up the linebackers? We know who the starters are going to be,
Yeah.
but who's
Yeah.
stepping up to fill up those backup roles?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they're going to be Flanagan, Foles, Hillard, Sullivan. Like I said, it's going to be somebody who's obviously going to play pretty much every special team snap, obviously.
yeah.
So you're going to have to stand out on special teams and then fill in if ever needed.
All right, we'll go one last more. We'll go ahead and take it one last more. I go rookie to watch. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go two. I'm gonna go Diamador Lenore. If I had to pick my number one rookie to watch this year, pre-camp is going to be him. I'm very, very curious. We all love the Shark. We all love K1. We're glad that he re-signed for the 1-year deal. I thought he was gone to the Jets. I thought it was a done deal. He was going to sign to the Jets. I'm so happy to bring it, but let's not act like K1 hasn't missed time. And so I'm assuming that Diamador Lenore would be the first that they would bring at Nickelback. And I'm excited. We all saw that one snap, albeit against a undrafted rookie wide receiver, albeit in shorts and T-shirts, in May.
Fire.
But the competitive, the dog in him, I love it. That dog, that woo. Oh, baby, I'm just getting chills. The mentality. I'm anybody who
more than
anybody
anything else. It's just like, look, you're not getting a day off when I got you.
Yes, I'm gonna make you earn it, and I love that. That's exactly what you want out of fifth round pick. And anybody who listens to the show with any regularity knows I'm big on football players' mentalities. I'm big on what's between your shoulders, as much as I am about talent, because we've all seen it plenty of times. Players have all the ability in the world, don't have it up here, and we've seen players that have it all up here and don't have as much ability to end up being superstars. And so I love Diamador Lenore, his mentality. I can't wait to see him in pads and the preseason. My second rookie to watch, and this is so much for where is he going to play? Talanoa Hufanga. I'm excited. Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? I personally think, why not both? I personally think they said they're going to start him off as safety. And to me, I have I'm gonna bring up a name from the past, Blake Costanzo. He was on the Tony Montana hit squad with Jim Harbaugh and everything like that, where he wasn't going to be a starter. He wasn't going to get many snaps from scrimmages, but he was a core special teamer. And if you look back to that Aints game, the Vernon Post game, I know for a fact he forced one turnover. I want to say he forced 2 turnovers on special teams that game. Huge plays that allowed us to get the 17-0 lead that we got in that game, because the Niners offense wasn't doing shit in that game. And if it wasn't for the
6 minutes left in the game,
and if it wasn't for the 2 turnovers, especially the 2 that were forced on special teams by Blake Costanzo, we're blown out. And so Hufanga is going to be a special teams ace. That's how he's going to make his mark on this football team this season.
This year.
And I'm fired up to see it. Jason, your rookies to watch?
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to go with the 2 trays.
2 trays.
You know, and not necessarily when it comes to Lance, not necessarily him playing and getting all this sort of the play
But the
time and
develop.
taking the position. I want to see what kind of other stuff he brings with, what kind of special plays, because he's going to get in a little bit here and there for every game.
Yeah.
And then with trade number 2, how many carries is he going to go with? Are we going to go heavy Trey Sermon to start the year, knowing that we got Wilson coming back week 8 or so, and then who could pick up that slack again and give it, or we're just going to go heavy Mostert first, and then Trey Sermon comes out. So, like I said, I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to go with the 2 trays.
Yeah. No, I see that. You and I have folks, and we're going to go ahead and the 7th we're going to do our preseason prediction, or our preseason, like before the season predictions. So it'll be the last Tuesday show before the season starts. You, I, Brian, and I'm going to see if Jamie wants to hop on. We'll and that's going to be one of the questions we're going to have, is who's going to carry the team. And I think that both of us have said that we believe it's going to be Trey Sermon that's going to lead the team in carries.
Yeah.
I can't
Maybe
disagree
not yards,
with that.
but carries,
The carries, yeah. Yeah. Oh no, he's not going to lead the team in yards. It's going to be
No.
Mostert that leads the team in yards.
Because he's going to get his 2 or 3 50, 60-yard touchdowns.
Yeah, he's. I'm saying Trey Sermon is going. Trey 2 is going to probably do 3.2 yards per carry, maybe 2 point something. He's not going to have a high yards per carry average, but that's not what we want him for. I don't need him to have 4, 5, 6 yards per carry like most of them. Jason, why don't you go ahead and run the ad and set up the raid, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the spiel, and we'll get up out of here.
All right. Ad is running.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I forgot to tell you that in our pre-show meeting with the 7th. I'll go ahead and also this actually worked out perfect, but they're not doing one roster cut this year. They're doing, I believe it's 80, the 17th. I think they got to go to, it's the 17th to 24th and the 31st. So, which will all be our show. So we'll have roster cuts to go over every week during August. So our show for August is going to be pretty easy. And then real quick, we're going to have to do an hour of content every game for August for our 20 hours because of the lack of because of the lack of training camp tickets I got. We're gonna have to do it like that. Do you want to do halftime for preseason or not? I'm not tripping if you do.
I guess we can. Can't hurt.
Okay. For sure. How much? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. While Jason goes ahead and sets up the raid, I'm going to remind everybody that For the Faithful, By the Faithful pre-launch sale is coming July 30th. Save 20% off of all our designs. Go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop for all the details. And on Friday, to shop. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio to save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets. Get officially licensed Niner gear by using our affiliate link in the description to go to shop49ers.com and use the promo to help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com to save on our interview, to see all our interviews, previous episodes of all our show, and you can follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. Jason, tell the people how they can subscribe to us via Amazon Gaming or Amazon Prime.
Well, it's Amazon Gaming and Amazon Prime. So you take your Amazon Prime that pretty much everybody uses. You head over to Twitch and you create a free account, and you connect the two with your Amazon gaming to your Amazon Prime. And then what you do is you take that, and then you get a free sub every month to your favorite streamer. Hopefully, it's us. And like I said, it's easy money it's easy for you. Puts money into the show that we use to upgrade things. And like I said, you can also do it the old-fashioned way and pay for it. But why do that? You can just get it for free.
And hey, it's the same amount to us. So
Yeah.
I always love to give people stuff. If you could do it for free, my mom always used to tell me something: never pay for something that you can get for free.
Yep.
Wise words from my mama. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jason, go ahead, run the raid, and then we'll come back and do the outro.
We're going to the outro, then I'll rate it.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and do the outro. All right. Don't know where the hell Jason went. Let me see if we can get Jason back. Yeah, did not expect that to happen. Did I accidentally remove him? Go ahead and see if we can get him back. If not, I got to do the raid. Sorry about that, y'all. Don't know where he went. I'm going to go ahead and message him on Facebook. See if we can get him back. If not, I can do the raid. You know what? I'll just go ahead and do the raid. And if you give me 1 second, let that load. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I will be going live probably sometime around noon tomorrow. Just random Niner talk. I try to reach our 20 hours. Boo, 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 boo. Please, hold on. I promise it'll come up soon. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, man. Go eat dinner after this. Okay. Stream chat. Let's go. Man, slow internet's killing me. Killing me, Smalls. Okay. So I guess we already did the Twitch raid and everything like that. Jason said he took care of it. So I shall see y'all tomorrow. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.